Scott Hub Media. It's the Dover Apothecary Show, the May edition, and I'm with Barb from Dover Apothecary and Healthy, Well, and Wise. Correct? I got that right finally, right? Yeah, I was
Good,
butchering it
yes.
last month. Boy, you just gotta stop me sometimes and say, slow down. But this
It's
this
all
month,
good.
both of the
Been called
both,
worse.
yeah. This month we're going to talk about a mutual friend that we have a lot of love and respect for over the years, and a lot of folks in Dover know. Obviously, it's not unusual news now that Mike from Dover Apothecary sold the business, but he's going to remain working there on a little bit of a
Right.
sabbatical right now, which is much needed. The guy is just works his butt off. But you and I were reflecting off air, and I remember the first time I met Mike, and it was just one of those experiences that I had where I instantly trusted the guy. Like I couldn't,
Hmm.
you can't put your finger on it. Sometimes in life, you just meet people and they're that way. They make you comfortable, they make you feel safe, and they're willing to listen. And I always loved that you could ask Mike a question and he understood it, and he would put it back
Yeah.
to you in terms that you would understand, because I'm no medical expert. So, and I'm sure that's a challenging job day in and day out. I don't know. I don't even know how many years he's did it. It seems like forever. But we're going to gush about Mike this morning, folks, just to let you know. So Mike, don't watch this. I know you won't, you won't appreciate us going on and on. Um,
Some warm and fuzzies for
Warm
him.
and
And
fuzzies about Mike and Sheena.
that's
We got
right.
obviously Sheena too. And he always, whenever we did the Christmas videos, he always plays the part, right? It's like he
Yeah.
gets super excited to do those things with us. And I always
Yeah.
appreciate that. The glove scene that's kind of iconic now with him in the video Christmas videos that people remind us about, me and Chris about on occasion. But, he gets into it and he
Right.
plays part of the community. I mean, the guy was Citizen of the Year. Everybody in Dover
Yep.
loves him. Let's be
Yeah.
truthful. Talk about your first experience with the guy, because you've known him probably as long as I have.
Well, the interesting part of it is there was probably a good 25 years there where I knew of Mike, because even all those years ago when I worked at the health food store and we had somebody that would come in and want a supplement, but they were on a lot of medications, and we knew he was the go-to resource pharmacist at that time, that that cared, that understood the integrative approach that people are often taking with their health. And he was the guy you could call that would give up his time in his busy self-run practice as a pharmacist, that you could trust to give you the information that you needed for the person that wasn't even going to make a purchase in his pharmacy.
Store.
And that's the kind of guy he is, right? He goes to the mat for people. His heart's bigger than his height for certain. But that's what always has attracted people. It's like you knew if you stepped in the door of the apothecary, there was going to be a wait, because he was giving his 100% to somebody. And, so I mean, this sabbatical that he needs to take right now to actually take care of himself physically, is long overdue. But, so I mean, that was pretty cool that all those years of talking to him on the phone and having questions
Yeah.
for him. And then, when I left my previous place of employment, and went to the apothecary, it was like, that was the first time I'd actually ever met him in person. And it was, that connection that we'd had over the phone all those years, it was just such an easy transition. And, to really understand what it was like to walk into, that pharmacy and be part of the apothecary family right away. So yeah, people get that. People need that more than ever. And and I know that now, once he's done his sabbatical, that that's something that he'll be able to lean into that part of the business even more. And
Yeah.
that makes me so happy for him, because that's really the part of pharmacy that lights him up the most, I think.
Was he one of the very first welcoming pharmacists to share? Like he appreciates your approach to, the holistic approach. Was he one of the first to really embrace that? Like he just seems to understand that, like you said, how they work together, right? He seemed to get that early
Hmm.
on.
Hmm.
And like you said, you've been doing this a long time. Was he one of the first ones to really understand that concept?
I think that the concept of integrative pharmacy has been more prevalent out west in
Okay.
Canada. I was very, very lucky after I had my great experience of years at Simcoe Natural Foods. I was there for 10 years, and then I was at Clark's Pharmacy for 12 years. Harley Clark and Steve and Greg had that same um, understanding, that same desire to create that bridge approach
Okay.
to health. And so it was an easy fit to go from there to Dover Apothecary. And, Mike had that absolute respect for both, facets and understands that need to make sure that the patient or client is central. And so all decisions are made considering what their not just what their physical needs are, but the needs of them that they need to be met in what their lifestyle is and their thought processes and just their overall ability to make changes for themselves. So, there are so many facets that have to be considered, but that is definitely something that the apothecary has always shone at. And I think it's why this is going to be such a great fit for Port Dover because, the Hausers bring many, many years of amazing experience and many communities and are very well thought of. And this isn't a decision Mike would have gone into with anything or anybody that he doesn't believe shares those same values. And it'll expand the services for the community as well.
It's kind of cool, but yeah, Phil's, and when I talked to Mike, he said they'd known each other a long time. So the values were already instilled there and they had a mutual respect for each other, which was, you got to have that to even make that
Right.
first step. One of the things I want to share too with the folks is a number of years ago, my daughter struggles with chronic Lyme and we were getting nowhere in the health profession. And it's not a shot at them. They just didn't understand it, what Lyme was, what chronic Lyme was at that time. And the only person who really gave us the time of day was Mike. He pointed us in
Yeah.
a direction where someone else that had struggled with Lyme had found a place where you could get tested. And Mike was very good at helping us set that up and get that done.
Hmm.
And it made a huge impact in my daughter's life, just knowing what she had. And we could step forward and start a health plan to sort of, help her. Because if we didn't, it would be, I don't know where she'd be today. I don't even know if she'd be alive today, to be honest with you. But
No, no,
that's how much of an
exactly.
impact he had directly on our family. And that's how
Hmm.
much we, love and respect the man, because without him looking outside the box or thinking a different way, I don't know if that
Hmm.
happens, right? And when you have someone like that in your community that
Yeah,
understands the value of life and is willing to go that far to help you, it's amazing. Like it just,
it is.
so much respect to the guy, because that's just one story. And I'm sure if you and I and you probably working within the store heard so many stories about people, just the
Hmm.
impact and the one-on-one conversation. Like you said, he goes above and beyond. So Mike, we're not, I know Mike, you probably don't want to hear all this, but we're going to do it anyway. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Barb.
I think, the number of stories, I mean, there was never a day that went by where somebody did not have a story similar to yours. I didn't realize there could be that many hours in a day that, can be created to do the things that he strove to do for people. And, their respect and admiration because of him doing, the going that extra mile and then some. He's one of those people, if he doesn't know something, he's going to make darn sure that he figures it out.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people, it's not that they wouldn't do it or don't want to do it, but there is something very unique about Mike that it it lights him up when he knows he can help that person on their journey and help them, find the pieces and put those pieces together. So, yeah, the stories, every single shift I was there, there was always somebody that had something extraordinary to say about how he had helped them get better in some way or a loved one. So yeah, it's it's a special thing. I'm really, like I said, very relieved that he's getting a break.
Well,
Because
and
when you see firsthand everything that he's been trying to do all these
yeah,
years, I'm just you can
you're
only
tickled
do
pink,
those
right?
things
You're
so
just
long.
yeah,
And yeah, so no, it's good. It's going to be a really good thing for Dover. I'll be talking to Phil myself
yeah,
about maybe being more available in Dover in the near future. So stay tuned for that
for sure.
because, every time I walk in, it's like, you know, I've missed the people have missed me. So, still be pretty much full time in my home office, but there will definitely be some days that you will be able to find me at the apothecary as well. I just have to arrange a meeting with Phil and sort some details out.
Cool. Um, couple things. I mean, another thing I really appreciate about Mike is his sense of humor. Like people that don't know him personally, he's got a wicked sense of humor, and it's so
Mm-hmm.
fun just to have those conversations with him because again, I think his mind just works so quick, right? It's kind of
It
we've all
does.
him and
Yeah,
I've always like I always if it's a private conversation, I'm always laughing because he just makes me laugh. The other part that we're forgetting in all this big picture stuff, like with him now being able to walk up the door at 6 p.m. How long is Sheena's list of things for him to do? Do you think? Do you think it's 25 years long? Like poor Sheena's probably just, she's getting Mike back. I wish her luck.
oh dear. I I can't speak to that, Dave.
Shout out
I
to
think
Sheena.
I'll just decline. I'll
No
plead the
comment
fifth
at this
on
time.
that,
No comment at this time.
and and I'm sure there will be more stories
Yeah. Well, and it's great
that Mike
for
and Sheena will share with you. Um,
But it's great
I
for
I
Sheena and Riley too, right? Riley to have dad
yeah.
around a bit more and just be able to go do things on, wherever they want and
Hmm.
whatever they want because they're
Oh,
such a big part of the community. And it's good
totally.
to, we'll have to get used to seeing Mike out and about. I mean, that's going to be a change right
Yes,
there.
that will be a huge change right there. And I think it's what a perfect time of his life for, you know, him to have this time to step into himself in a different way a little bit. I think that's fantastic. It's you know, he's been helping other people shine their light. It's time for him to be able to shine his light a little bit differently. But yeah, I'm happy he's got some breathing space and he gets to recalibrate because goodness knows, you
Do-
you
Dover's going
when
to
you
need him for a
give
long time. So,
everything that
yeah.
he's been giving,
Yeah.
you have to start filling your own bucket again.
Yeah.
And
Well, and
mhm,
I think that's like you said earlier. He's going to have more time for the clients. He's going to be there, folks.
mhm,
It's business as usual. It's just Phil's now helping him get away from all the other stuff so that he can focus on what
yeah.
he loves to do best. I think you nailed
Mhm.
it when you said that, and I look forward to it. I mean, I think it's great for Mike. It's great for Phil. It's nice that they have each other too, right? To help each
Yes.
other out. Dover's the
Yeah,
winner.
and it's
Dover's the
great
winner.
for the community
Yeah,
because it's we have to protect our resources and Mike is definitely a
yeah.
natural resource.
Maybe we'll try and get Mike and Phil on. We'll have like a roundtable show, but
That'd be
I don't
good.
know. That would everybody would be probably sending us questions, which is fine. But it's just fun to be able to have this opportunity because you and I always talk about, and it's great. And I think maybe this is a great way to angle this show is laughter's a great medicine too, right? To have that opportunity
Mhm.
now to talk about Mike and share what you and I have
Yeah.
seen from him for years, and we know all the public
Mhm.
understands that, but just to see he's going to another level now, which is great to see. I have
Yeah.
nothing but positive vibes from Mike. That's for sure.
Mhm. For sure.
All right, Mike. This show is all about you. You might want to keep this one in the archives. You may need it someday. But Barb, thanks for doing this. I really appreciate you taking the time. Look forward to
You're
seeing you
very
two around the
welcome.
apothecary.
All right.
All right, take care.
You too.